Obsidian has been facing so much backlash over Avowed, and it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon because as we get closer to the release of this game, more and more people are paying attention to the controversial statements that team members have made, like Matt Hansen saying he wants to kick crusty white dudes out of the video game industry. But now an email from the CEO of Obsidian has been leaked, and it looks like they're panicking. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this was leaked to Smash JT. Of course, take this all with a grain of salt. I say that every single time I've talked about leaks or rumors, but this does look pretty legit. It says an anonymous whistleblower for Obsidian Entertainment has leaked to me directly an internal email sent to the entire company signed by none other than the CEO of this studio. Now, it does look like Obsidian is panicking, which isn't particularly shocking given they probably put $100 to $150 million into Avowed. It's a brand new IP, so they were really hoping it was going to do good. But it just doesn't look like the type of game that we expect. Obsidian used to be one of the pillars of the video game industry with games like Fallout New Vegas and Knights of the Old Republic 2, Pillars of Eternity, fantastic titles all around, but it looks like they went in the direction of making games that appeal to a modern audience, and maybe this will be good. I will be streaming it when it finally releases, though it's looking like a nightmare. It says this insider has also revealed something both surprising and humbling. A lot of employees at Obsidian have been watching my videos in particular, covering this unfolding situation over the past few weeks since the Matt Hansen controversy erupted. He's been inundated with messages from folks connected to this studio in some way, shape, or form, and it says a picture has been slowly brought into focus here, and it's not a pretty one. The whistleblower stated in their message, echoing what many other folks have said in the past, while I disagree with everything Matt and others are doing at the studio, I do worry about feeding the outrage machine. However, I also worry that nothing will ever change for the better as long as people are ignorant of what's going on. The problem at Obsidian is cultural, and culture flows from the top. According to the leaker and multiple other employees, a significant portion of staff agrees that Matt Hansen is a roadblock, and as a consumer looking from the outside, it does look like Matt Hansen is a major issue for the studio. But the other problem is that I'm sure there's other people that work at this company who are radical leftists and who would echo his sentiments, who do agree with him and do stand by him. And that's the major issue. Teams should not have people that are a part of them that hate gamers, that are outwardly racist. And well, Matt Hansen is, but because he agrees with the politics that are being pushed by the majority of the people at the top of the company, I'm sure, he gets to stay. Now, he, of course, has been rather silent on social media since the controversy erupted a few weeks ago, but getting closer to the release of this game, the backlash has only gotten worse for them because so many people are now paying attention to the Matt Hansens at the studio, and them, of course, silencing gamers. I've done a couple of videos on this, but over on their official X account, if you go, and you click the hidden replies, most of the posts that they've made have hidden replies, so they're silencing people that way. It's not shocking, but it is very disappointing to see a studio acting this way, trying to silence people's genuine criticism. You would think that companies would want people talking about their game and criticizing so that they can do better, so that they can maybe alter character models a teensy bit before release, make them a little bit more appealing. You can make sure that if people are pointing out in the gameplay any bugs or glitches that they've seen, they'll take those to heart, but none of that's really happening. They said Matt has no fear of being fired because long before Microsoft bought them, this was the culture. Microsoft only further reinforces that particular world and cultural view. I've talked about this in videos as well, but Microsoft basically has a checklist of things that developers need to do and follow, whether it comes to a social media presence or the content that you're putting into a game. They ask questions like, is your female character appropriately dressed? If she's in a chainmail bikini, is that really the direction that this story's heading in? Is that proper attire for the situation they're in? Oh, are your female characters on the same power level as the males? Absolutely ridiculous things. I believe that if a developer wants to create a certain character and wants that character to look a certain way, that's the way that the character should be portrayed within the video game. And it's funny because we've seen that for both sides of the spectrum, even in 2024. We have games like Stellar Blade, we have games like Black Myth Wukong, which have very attractive females. But on the flip side, you also have games like Dustborn and Concord and Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. And I have never, ever called for those games to be canceled, for all of the teams to be fired. I've never said that those games shouldn't exist because I think both types of games should exist, but we can definitely see where the money is at this point in time, and it is certainly not with these woke Western devs. There are some there that pushed back against it, but most just left, so it sounds like the people who did not agree with the culture at the company left, and that is unfortunate because those are the level-headed individuals who should stay at these companies. It says, though, many of you have probably seen the controversy online about Avowed over the last 4 or 5 days, so this is probably from like 2 weeks ago. I am not going to speak directly to what is happening because the way we are going to deal with this, unless things change, is to let it blow over. I have always dealt with things like this by not giving them more airtime. Well, unfortunately for you, Fergus, it certainly is getting more airtime now that this has been leaked, but now to talk about how you all do engage online, you have probably all noticed that our language at Obsidian is to walk a tightrope when it comes to how we ask you to think about your online presence. You have all heard me say that you are your own people, and of course have every right to say what you want to say wherever you want to say. It's something I staunchly believe in personally, whether I like what you say or not. That freedom does not come without challenges and responsibilities, particularly when you talk about things that are associated with our games or games in general. I mean, yikes. It just goes on and on and on. And it's funny just to show how out of touch he truly is, because I do agree that people have a right to say whatever they want, wherever they want to say it, but you're also representing a company, and he's not sitting here outwardly saying he disagrees with Matt Hansen's racist rants, which is the problem, is that he's basically saying, because I agree that you can say whatever you want, wherever you want, I'm not going to sit here and say that racism isn't okay, which is just fucking absurd. Because if somebody took his statement and said that about a black individual, that person would be fired. They would never get another job within the gaming industry. He would put out this post. He would say that they would never stand with, racist people. But when it's against white individuals, they're not outwardly condemning it, which is just a massive problem and really goes to show the attitude with some of these people. So yes, I can't say I'm particularly surprised to hear that this is the attitude at the company, and this might not be real. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, it seems very believable that they are panicking about all of the backlash they're facing. And while I think that this game is still going to do relatively well because it is going to be on Game Pass day one and there's going to be a lot of people playing it that way, I think that the sales are going to be affected by these controversies and by these just outwardly racist, awful statements. So I will be keeping my eye on this situation to see if he makes any public statements and tries to clarify anything. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.